Our feuding countries were, after all, the world's only two republics, though Napoleon's autocratic style was straining that definition in France. And a treaty. It was no accident that the French elite had been turned out at Mortefontaine for this celebration. No warrior was better at publicizing his peacemaking than Bonaparte. Mortefontaine is a lovely chateau some 35 kilometers north of Paris. Far enough, in other words, for France's new leaders to party in style, well out of sight of the mob that had put them there. The mansion had been purchased by Bonaparte's brother Joseph, and none of those assembled dared suggest it was a tad ostentatious for the inheritors of the Revolution. Napoleon, just 31, was the most astute observer of human nature I ever met, and he'd wasted little time giving France back some of the royalist trappings it had missed since chopping off the head of King Louis and guillotining the nation's lace-makers. It was permissible to be rich again, ambitious, elegant. Velvet, which had been forbidden during the Terror, was not just permitted, but in style. Wigs might be a relic of the last century, but gold military braid was de rigueur in this one. The lovely grounds were swarming with newly powerful men, newly seductive women, and enough silk and brocade to get the haberdasheries of Paris humming, albeit on more classical Republican lines. Lafayette and La Rochefoucauld had invited every prominent American in Paris, even me. Our total assembly numbered 200, all of us heady with American triumph and French wine. Bonaparte had insisted that his festival organizer, Jean-Etienne Despots, achieve perfection in record time. Accordingly, that famed marshal of merriment hired the architect Cellerier to revamp the theater, recruited a troupe from the Comédie Française to play a ribald sketch on transatlantic relations, and prepared the fireworks display, with which I was about to become all too familiar. 3 great tables were set out in the orangerie in 3 adjoining rooms. The first was the Room of the Union, the head wall hung with a scroll of the Atlantic, with Philadelphia on one side and Le Havre on the other, the intervening sea topped by an airborne half-naked woman who represented peace by holding an olive branch in her fingers. Why the doxies in these European paintings always have their clothes slipping off, I don't know, but I must say it's a custom my own more staid America could emulate. Next to the mural were enough foliage, flowers, and folderol to start a forest fire. The next 2 rooms had busts of my late mentor Benjamin Franklin and the recently deceased George Washington, respectively. Outside in the park was an obelisk with allegorical figures representing France and America, and the whole affair was frocked with tricolor bunting. Rose petals floated in pools and fountains, rented peacocks strutted on lawns, and artillery banged salutes. It seemed to me that Despots had earned his money, and that I, finally, was among friends. At Joseph Bonaparte's request, I'd brought along the long rifle I'd helped forge in Jerusalem. A nasty thief named Najak had knocked the piece about, but I'd disposed of him by pushing a ramrod through his heart and later paid 20 francs to restore the stock's finish. Now I gave a demonstration of the gun's accuracy. I broke a teacup at 100 paces and struck a cavalry breastplate 5 times running at twice that distance, a perforation that impressed officers resigned to the stray aim of muskets. While more than one soldier remarked on the tedious time the rifle took to load, they also said it explained the feared accuracy of our frontiersmen in the North American wars. A hunting piece, one colonel judged, not inaccurately. Light to carry, wickedly accurate. But look at the narrow neck. A conscript would break this beauty like a piece of china, or learn to take care of it. Yet I knew he was right. This was not practical for massed armies. Rifles clog with powder residue after half a dozen shots, while cruder muskets can be banged away by idiots, and are. A long rifle is a sniper's gun. So I fired again, this time drilling a gold louis at 50 paces. pretty ladies applauded and...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.